Good morning, my name is Simone Casaldi and my thesis deals with audiovisual translation with a specific focus on subtitling. In the first part, we will analyze the studies regarding phraseological units. In the second part, we will focus on the subcompetencies implied in the use of phraseological units in language teaching. Finally, in the third part, we will talk about subtitling high schools in the framework of a project in which I collaborated, conceived by Professor Alfredo Rocca. Ariana Alessandro defines phraseology as the linguistic discipline dealing with the study of phraseological units, that is to say, combination of words which have a high degree of internal cohesion, both at a structural and semantic level, as well as a significant dependence to the context. So, phraseological units are all those fixed expressions, idioms, sayings, proverbs, which are formed of inseparable elements, whose association is immediate. Phraseological units are quantitatively predominant compared to simple words, and they appear with a frequency of 10 times higher on average. Given that phraseological units consist in a prefabricated language, they increase the speed of message production and decrease the speaker's mental effort. Moreover, the message will be more fluid and the reception will be simpler, as the receiver will be able to foresee the sequence of words. The speed of learning is also due to the motivational element resulting from the simplicity of the method, which is not bound to the application of syntax rules, thanks to an autonomous analysis of the prefabricated sequences by the learner. Phrasedidactics, that is to say the science studying the phraseological unit didactics, often employs subtitles as a systematic material in L2 teaching. The use of subtitles is particularly appreciated due to different reasons. Firstly, it provides the soundtrack with a visual support, facilitating a complete and non-fragmentary access to information. This results in a higher quality of comprehension and a better memorization by the student. Secondly, it is an element of relief for the learner who, thanks to the visual support, is able to lower the level of anxiety and stress which characterizes the exposure to new and authentic material. Subtitles allow the access to phraseological material by means of two codes. So, the student has the opportunity to grasp certain expressions through the soundtrack, and at the same time he can verify the reliability of those expressions through subtitles. This, as we said before, reduces the level of anxiety and allows a repeated exposure to the material, which is crucial in order to memorize the phraseological units. Furthermore, subtitles and soundtrack have the advantage to be elements of support to images. In this way, the student is able to link the textual aspects with the visual ones, and this studying context facilitates the motivation of the students himself. Phraseology facilitates the development of several subcompetencies which make language teaching extremely fruitful. Phraseological unit learning helps the acquisition of lexicon. However, this is just one of the advantages at linguistic level. Indeed, the combinations of words help the student to examine thoroughly the morphological and syntactic structures, with a consequent increased awareness of the grammatical structure present in those expressions. Phraseological units are also crucial when it comes to the acquisition of standard expressions, which fulfill standalone communicative functions. We are talking about common use expressions used for approving, refusing, thanking, agreeing, and disagreeing. This facilitates significantly intercultural communication, with language shifting from a theoretical level to a practical one. Furthermore, those units are often culturally connoted, referring to social-cultural aspects, anecdotes, cliché, historical events, or literary references characterizing a country. This is a key element for developing the sociocultural subcompetence of the student, who does not study concepts which are a name in themselves as they are inserted in a real context. Lastly, phraseological units allow developing the metaphorical subcompetence. These help the student to grasp from the text all the possible meanings of a certain expression, including the ironies and the figurative elements. This subcompetence is vital in the view of a correct use of language, as non-literal aspects of communication fulfill specific communicative functions. Subtitle use in a phraseological view represent a unique chance to involve students in L2 classes. Phraseological units indeed have ironic nuances, and they create a humorous effect in the classroom. This relieves the pressure on students who work in a ludic and familiar environment. Moreover, given the practical nature of phraseological units, students see those expressions as real elements of communication, which they can use continues as soon as they hear them, without a programmatic study. Staying on the subject of subtitle use in L2 teaching, I collaborated in a project which was carried out at several high schools in Rome and its suburbs, in the framework of work-related learning. This project, called Tradurre dall'inglese audiovisivi spettacolo editoria, was conceived by Alfredo Rocca in collaboration with Marco Ravaioli, that is to say, two professionals of translation who has been teaching for many years in Advanced School of Modern Language for Translators and Interpreters. This project was carried out at the SSML San Domenico in Rome and at the Classic High School Amedeo di Savoia in Tivoli. While Alfredo Rocca and Marco Ravaioli led the students in the world of music, sectorial, journalistic, and editorial translation, I offered them practical subtitling classes on digital support. Although the courses had the same structure and prerogatives, the difference between the two was significant. The lesson in Tivoli represented as a course in the afternoon, with facultative registration, lasting 2 hours per week. Those at San Domenico instead gave the possibility to hold classes to experience an entire morning in the world of audiovisual translation. In Tivoli, the course was attended by students from different classes. Each student was given a computer with a subtitling software whose use was really intuitive. In the first class, in addition to assimilating some little information concerning the use of the digital program, the students agreed with me on the field products they preferred to translate. This allowed developing the lessons on a solid base, that is to say, the interest towards the material subject of the course. The students reasoned on the right register to adopt. Depending on the different historical situational contexts, they decide to adopt a different style of translation according to the character by taking into account factors such as age, gender, degree of education, and emotional state. They viewed the final product, analyzing it critically and correcting the points that did not seem fluid or coherent compared with the rest of the translation. Finally, they discussed on the quality of translation and compared dubbing language with subtitling one. The course at San Domenico was attended by students from the third and fourth year of different high schools in Rome. In the first place, the students were encouraged to talk about the TV series they followed most frequently, and this allowed breaking the wall of skepticism and shyness that is often present between students and professors. Then the TV series, subject of the course, were presented to the class, and the students who had followed those series before were asked to talk about the plot, the characters, the points of strength. The quality of translation choices was stunning. The students were able to detect the problems of translation and they found together some very effective solutions. However, the most significant aspect was the pedagogical one. During the course, the dynamics of hierarchization that are often established during the traditional lessons were attenuated. The professors of English of the different classes were also present at the course, and they noticed with interest this trend. The students with below average academic results participated with enthusiasm to the lessons, showing some skills which were hidden to them and to their professors. This, as we said, concerning phraseological units, is probably due to the ludical environment in the classroom, thanks to humorous contents and common use sentences easily usable in everyday situations. In conclusion, we can say that thanks to the studies on phraseological units, in the future L2 lessons will be almost certainly based on audiovisual products with subtitles. This is a crucial step in the process of learning as well as an enormous opportunity for the students, as the project conceived by Alfredo Rocca showed.